The court will consider a lot of different factors when it tries to determine what type of property settlement you might be entitled to receive as part of your dissolution process. Please bear in mind that if we're talking about a situation where you were not married to the person, as a general rule, the court does not divide property. So this is just for those of you who are actually dissolving a marriage. In determining what the court will do, the court considers several factors, chiefly among them, how long were you married? Generally speaking, parties to a divorce are entitled to a distribution of the property that was accumulated through your joint efforts. If your role in the marriage has been to stay home and care for children, that doesn't necessarily mean that the other person gets all the property. The court values and considers homemaking services in part of the division of property. Another factor the court will consider is what property was brought into the marriage. Just because something was brought into the marriage doesn't necessarily mean the person who brought it in will receive it. However, if your marriage is of a very short length of time, let's say a year or less, more likely than not the court's going to try to put you and your spouse back in the position you were right before you got married. Another factor the court will consider is the contribution each party made to the marriage. As I mentioned before, homemaking services would be considered among that. Other factors that could be considered are, did you assist your spouse in obtaining a higher degree or going to college or things of that type of nature? Another factor that the court will consider is the age and emotional health of both parties and determining whether or not each party will be able to be self-sufficient after the dissolution has been granted. Another factor the court may consider is the earning capacity of the parties. So if you have two people who have very different backgrounds in terms of education and skills and income abilities, that could affect what type of property settlement you see. If you have children, the court will try to normally look at awarding the home to the parent who will have the children if one parent is going to have primary care. There are other factors that the court will consider that you should talk to your attorney about, but these are some of the basic factors that the court will look at.